There is no power outside of you greater than your inner speech. And through this inner speech, we can change our entire existence. Some way, somehow, that inner speech sees itself into existence. I trust you've been noticing. People show up saying the same things that you're imagining, the same inner conversations. And so let's look at this here from William Walker Atkinson. He says, "We may have been accustomed to thinking of ourselves on the physical plane alone. Perhaps when one thinks of the I, it is pictured as a human body with organs. Now, as we discussed in Sunday, the I has neither face, form, nor figure, but it does mold itself into structure by all that it believes, what it fuses with. So you have the ability to fuse with your conscious inner speech. And as I always mention, reality is what we say I am to now. The power is behind the words." Let's take a look at this. This is the Robert Dilts logical levels. I haven't brought this up in a while, and I will be bringing it up again at the end of the year when we're going to be setting our vision for 2023. On the top, you've got vision, then you've got identity, you got values and beliefs, capabilities, behaviors, and environment. The formless self, I, transcends this entire pyramid you see on the screen here. Transcends everything. And what we do is we fuse ourselves with a vision. For example, a person might say, "I have a lavish, steady, dependable income consistent with integrity and mutual benefit." That's the vision. As soon as I, which has neither face, form, nor figure, fuses with that vision by suggesting it to ourselves, everything changes. Let's zoom in a little bit here. So our identity changes. Our values and our beliefs change. Our capabilities change, our skills, our behaviors change, and our environments change. All of this stuff happens automatically. Consciously, what we have spoken, in which we have identified with, plants the seed in which everything expresses from. Now, as mentioned, I have the complete reader of William Walker Atkinson, which includes this interesting book. It's called Nuggets of New Thought. And so I paraphrased one of the chapters, and I'd like to read it in relation to our conversation today. "We may have been accustomed to thinking of ourselves on the physical plane alone. When we think of the I of ourselves, we may picture it as a human body with organs, and mind a part of that body. Some might picture their I as intellect or mind. To them, they may consider their intellect as their real self. And then here we are, having discovered this information, realizing the I consciousness has passed beyond the intellectual plane and is able to look back to that plane and the one still further back, the physical plane. I recognizes the value of both mind and body, but regards them as both expressions with which to flow infinite creativity. This I, the formless self, feels that it has existed from the beginning, if beginning there was, and will exist until the end, if end there be. I feels a keen pleasure in mere existence in the now. I knows itself to be a part of the whole thing, knows that the universe is its home, a ray from the Supreme Sun, a particle of the Divine Being, using that body and a power called mind with which to manifest itself. I allows intellect to indulge in speculations. It frets not itself with the problems of the past or future, but lives in the now, and knows itself to be part of the whole. I knows that it cannot be destroyed or injured, that it exists in accordance with law, and it says trustfully and confidently to the Absolute, "Thy will be done." I knows itself to be one with the I of all living creatures, and knowing this cannot manifest hate, fear, envy, jealousy, nor can it shame or condemn. I recognizes others as fellow travelers on the same road. I has but one feeling towards others and the whole world, love. No one can be left out of the great arrangement of life. I sees endless phases of existence opening up to the vision. I has the courage of intelligent faith and moves forward cheerfully to the divine adventure. To one who realizes this, the task of self-actualization becomes a labor of love. That inner form is formless, the I. If you have never realized this truth, relax body and mind and indulge in a little introspection. Turn your gaze inward. Listen to the voice of the Spirit. Listen in the silence. Day by day, the voice will grow coherent. You are now coming in sight of the promised land. To understand the law deeply, one must acknowledge the existence and the power of the formless self, the I. It must be grown into and felt rather than reasoned out by the intellect. You will realize then even your mind is not you, but is merely the instrument through which you manifest yourself. The recognition of this formless self may be faint, but encourage it and it will grow. And so this formless self can fuse to any vision. We experience that fusion by suggesting to ourselves, we are how we desire to be now. I have a lavish, steady, dependable income consistent with mutual integrity and benefit. So that's the vision. And then from there, everything changes. Their identity changes. They will start to see things differently. Their beliefs will change. Things that they were once interested in, they might not be interested in it anymore. If anything related to the vision, let's say a skill, is to be cultivated, or behaviors to be changed, or environments to be changed, they find themselves automatically compelled to do those things. And so as we commit to a vision, and we're on the journey right now to realizing our vision, we want to be aware of our self-talk, because that's revealing the state of mind that we're in. And since we are transcendent to the state of mind, we have the awareness to observe what state of mind we're in. And if we're in a disharmony, we can speak ourselves in the moment right now into our ideal state of mind, in which a person feels at flow with their behaviors. We want to now and then release ourselves with over-identification with the physical plane. Recognize that you're not your environment, you're not your behaviors, you're not your skills, you're not your values and beliefs, you're not your identity, you're not your vision, you're formless. And from there, you select a vision. I have a lavish, steady, dependable income consistent with mutual integrity and benefit, in which an identity flows, values and beliefs, capabilities, behaviors, and environment flows from what you select in the vision. They notice that they become that person, and we want to allow it. We want to let it happen. So as soon as you select the vision, it has happened, it's done inside, which is the reality. The reality is inside, and the outer world is an expression of that reality. The vision must be conceived of as already in existence now. So you're automatically oriented towards your vision. I have a lavish, steady, dependable income consistent with mutual integrity and benefit. The experience of reality is what we identify with now. So, and as we're going about our day-to-day activities, we want to ensure that we're in the state of mind that's ideal. And we do this by observing without overthinking to ensure that we're speaking from the end result, and the means whereby often take care of themselves. And I find that intuitively the information shows up. For example, I opened up William Walker Atkinson's Complete Reader, which has close to 15,000 pages. And inspiration showed up to read that specific chapter in which I paraphrased. And even the paraphrasing showed up automatically. Now, before I had a belief that this was not possible. So I had a conversation with myself. Who says it's not possible? If all things are possible, then can it be possible that information shows up for whatever I'm using it for easily? Can I accept the suggestion that things are getting easier each day? So I'm speaking from the end, and the means whereby will often take care of themselves, some way, somehow. There's no need to fear making mistakes or of temporary failures. So in a way, we could say there's no such thing as mistakes and failures in which a person may suggest to themselves something outside is holding themselves back. As I had mentioned earlier, there is no power outside greater than your inner speech, which is essentially speaking to yourself in a loving way and accepting the suggestions. You know the way. You know what you want, your vision, and you know how to get there. Suggest to yourself, I'm finding it's easier to receive the answers within. As a result, I have a heightened degree of awareness. And so let's go back to the beginning here. The I has neither face, form, nor figure, but it does mold itself into structure by all that it believes. And you can get yourself to believe anything. I would also suggest to yourself that it's easy to change your beliefs. As I had suggested that to myself, I noticed it became easier. And that's because we acknowledge that we are transcendent to the beliefs. And if a person is transcendent to the beliefs, they can return back to that awareness and consciously choose what they want to believe. As we realize, there is no power outside of you greater than your inner speech. You can think inside whatever way you'd like. And as you identify with that thinking feelingly, you'll notice it playing out in your environments, in your behaviors, in your skills, and how you go about doing this. This becomes subconscious. And this is where the power is. Trust, and not jam it up by being too concerned or too anxious as to whether it will work or not, or by attempting to force it with too much conscious effort. You must let it work rather than make it work. Suggest to yourself via self-talk and accept the suggestion. It's easier for me each day to trust that things will work out in my favor. I'm able to feel it in my experiences more so every day, in conversations with others, in experiences in my environment. As I'm cultivating my skill, I notice that my behaviors flow automatically in an ideal way. So I trust you found this video to be helpful. Let's go ahead and conclude this with an auto-suggestion to further encourage. I recognize that some way, somehow, I realized my vision by allowing the ideal inner conversations, the words and communication that shapes my day-to-day experience and my destiny to flow from my higher self as a fun, flow-based journey to realizing my vision. If you'd like a copy of this mind map, the link is in the description. Thank you very much for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.